So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today in this video we will be going over, if you're new to the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball line, where should you get started or where should you begin collecting in the line. Now I know probably every day or every week there's new people joining into collecting the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball line because Dragon Ball is just so damn popular, and why won't you want to collect figures of it, you know? So try to go over it the best I can, where you should start, what's the cheapest figures that you should start out getting first. Then eventually when you mainly get those figures and you get a little settled in and you want to get the more expensive figures, which ones should you get next? Some other figures I feel like we'll be getting like 2.0 versions or maybe repaints or something. So if you can be patient, I would say wait it out, or maybe get like the Figurized standard model kit version of that figure. So all right, starting here, if you just started out with the line, you haven't even bought a figure and you want to get into the line, where should you start? Which are the cheapest figures you should start out with? Plus you probably want to start off with the main characters like Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Trunks, Piccolo. So all right, so starting it off here, I would say you would have to get this figure without a doubt. This is probably the first figure you should start off with, and that is the Awakened Warrior Super Saiyan Goku. It's still around retail price, like 50-55 bucks. You shouldn't have a problem finding it. A lot of retailers still have it in stock, and it's a must-have. You know, it's one of the best figures in the line and one of the best Gokus that they have made in the line. And that figure right there was when they started the new like 2.0 bodies. And it is one of the best figures they have made, and it's Goku. It's a Super Saiyan version, and it's one of the most, probably the most iconic moment in Dragon Ball when Goku first went Super Saiyan against Frieza in the Frieza saga. So I feel like that is a figure you should start the line off with right there. And since we're on Goku, this figure has not released yet, but it will release in a couple months, and it's the cheapest figure that they have ever made, I believe. Or at least the cheapest Goku, which is only around like 35 bucks, and it is the 2.0 normal version or powered down version of Goku. I know a lot of the pre-orders did sell out in Japan, but I know a lot of the US retailers still have it available for pre-order, and that is a figure you should not sleep on at all. Since you're gonna have a Super Saiyan version of Goku, might as well get the powered down version. Yeah, it hasn't released yet, but I would say go pre-order it right now. It's 35 bucks. You can't go wrong with it. You're probably just going to get some interchangeable hands and faces, and that's it. But it's probably going to be one of the best Goku figures that they have made. Plus, of course, it is the 2.0 Goku body mold. All right, so getting the main character out of the way, the second most popular or main character, I would say, is Vegeta. And the first Vegeta figure you should start off with is the 2.0 Super Saiyan Vegeta. I feel like as of right now, that's the best Vegeta figure in the line, hands down, and it's a must-have for your collection. It's still around retail price, like around 50 bucks, and you can still find it at a lot of retailers. So if you want to have Goku and Vegeta, there you go. There's two Gokus and one Vegeta already to add into your line. Even though you have to wait for the normal version Goku or powered down version Goku, you'll have the two Super Saiyan versions of the two main characters in Dragon Ball. So another main character would be a Gohan. This Gohan right here, the manga version, I would say pass on that one. Go straight to the battle damage version of Gohan, because that is also one of the most iconic moments in Dragon Ball Z, and probably Gohan's most iconic moment throughout the entire series, through Z, Super, even crappy GT. But yeah, it's not the best figure, but it is the best version of that younger version of Gohan that we do have in the line as right now. And the battle damage version of a character is always badass to have. Plus, it does have the updated body mold and everything. You don't have all loosey-goosey joints like the original Gohan. So if you want to have a Gohan, I would say jump on the battle damage one, because it is still around retail price, like 55 bucks, so you really can't go wrong with that. And if you want to get the adult Gohan, the Mystic Gohan, it was Ultimate Gohan, that's what they called it. He did jump up in price, almost double. He's around like 85 bucks. If you're really that big of a fan of Gohan and you want to have an adult Gohan in your collection, I would say go for it. It's still a decent figure, holds up to this day. It is the older body mold, And I'm pretty sure we're gonna get maybe the purplish, bluish Gi Gohan maybe in the future. I feel like we're gonna get another adult Gohan, maybe a super version of Gohan. So if you can be patient, I would say maybe wait for them to do an updated 2.0 mold of the adult Gohan. If you don't want to wait, I would say just get the ultimate one that's out right now if you want to spend the money for it. But if you want to get a Gohan, I would recommend getting the Battle Damage Gohan. Alright, so now for the other son, there's a few different Trunks figures out there right now. So you can either get the Xenoverse one, the Future Trunks, or the Saiyan Armor Trunks. All of them are still around retail price. I would say pick whichever one you like the most. For me personally, the Saiyan Armor Trunks is my favorite. I think it's the best one that they have made so far. They're all pretty good. The Future Trunks is a little outdated, of course. But if you love that version of Trunks, I'd say go for it. He's still only around like 45 bucks, the premium color edition Future Trunks, but we all know that we're going to be getting a Dragon Ball Super version of Trunks, which a lot of people weren't too happy with. I think it looks alright. It isn't perfect. There is a few issues with it, but I would say if you want to get a Future Trunks, I would recommend waiting for that one instead of getting the older Future Trunks. But if you're going to get a Trunks and you want my opinion on it, just remember, this is what you want for your collection. It's your opinion, your collection. This is just my own personal opinion. I feel like the Saiyan Armor Trunks is the best Trunks figure that is around right now. But if you want to have a Trunks and say you want the Xenoverse one in your collection, go for that one. Still around retail price. The Future Trunks Premium Color Edition, still around retail price. And then same with the Saiyan Armor Trunks. It's still around retail price. So you really can't go wrong with either Trunks that you would like to have in your collection. Plus, it's Vegeta's son. He's one of the main characters as well. Now, for the last main character, that is Piccolo. Now, the San Diego Comic-Con one, I believe, is over like 200 bucks. So I would just say pass on that one for now, because I'm pretty sure in the future we will get a 2.0 anime colored Piccolo in the future. I would say if you want a Piccolo as of right now, just grab the manga version Piccolo. It's around like 60 bucks. A few bucks above retail, but it's still pretty close to retail price, so you really can't go wrong with getting him for that much. And it's Piccolo. It's a must-have. He still holds up pretty damn good to this day, even though it is like an older body mold. But if you do want a Piccolo in your collection, I would recommend getting the manga version Piccolo, since he's still pretty cheap as well. Alright, so now for villains, you have your 5 main Dragon Ball universe characters: Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, Gohan, and Piccolo. Now you want to have a villain for them, if I'm not mistaken. So since we're about to get Majin Buu, you can get any of the main 3 villains that we had in Z. I would say though Frieza and Cell are definitely going to be the better out of all 3 of them. The Majin Buu looks pretty good, but I know it's not going to be one of the best figures because of how big the figure is. It's going to limit his articulation, and he isn't included with a ton of accessories either. But I would say if you want to get a villain, I would go with the new Resurrection F Final Form Frieza. It did just release in Japan, so Bluefin should be getting it in sometime this month. In May, probably later on in the month. But if you want a Frieza in your collection, I would highly recommend going for the new Final Form Frieza that just released. Of course, it's still at retail price. It's the first main big bad that we had in Dragon Ball Z, excluding Vegeta. He was like the biggest threat, and when Goku fought him, you didn't know how Goku was going to beat him. At least when he fought Vegeta, his friends were able to hold their own at least a little bit against Vegeta. With Frieza, they really couldn't. They really couldn't at all. But that Frieza would definitely be an awesome addition to the collection. Yeah, it doesn't have as many accessories as the original Final Form Frieza, but I think the figure itself is going to be... It looks much nicer from what I saw at events, and the promo images, it looked much nicer compared to the original Frieza that we have as of right now. Plus that original Frieza, I believe, is like over 200 bucks, so you might as well just go with the one that they just released. So there's one villain you could have in your collection, and if you want Perfect Cell, jump on the premium color edition Perfect Cell ASAP, because that is an amazing figure. Holds up extremely well to this day. I think that was like the 6th figure or something like that they made in the line. He was the first villain that they made, I think in 2012 he released or something like that. But that Perfect Cell, still around retail. I think he went up like a few bucks. He's around like 65, 70 bucks. Worth every penny. I would definitely jump on that as soon as you can. Once you jump into collecting this line, I would definitely get that Cell. I would actually try to get Cell first before the Frieza that just released, because Cell's price will go up more before that Frieza's price goes up. So there's two main villains you could already have in the line, and if you want to get Majin Buu, you might as well order the fat version Majin Buu. He is around like 75 bucks. Pretty expensive, but he is a very large figure as I seen it at events. It's a huge figure, so I see why it is a little more expensive. But if you do want to have a Majin Buu, that's really your only option, or you can get the Kid Buu from the Figuarts standard model kit line until they make an SH Figuarts version of Kid Buu. So there's all the main villains that you could get in the line. Now for other figures you can get in the line that I would highly recommend that are still decently cheap and around retail price, one of them is Kid Goku. That's one of the best figures hands down in the line. One of the most fun figures. It's going to be on my list this year. I'll tell you right now, my top 10 favorite figures of 2018. That figure is definitely going to be on my list. You get a shit ton of accessories, excellent articulation, especially for the size of the figure, and the detail was handled pretty damn well. Also, just no shading on the figure, but it's still pretty much retail price, and you can't go wrong getting that figure. Take my word for it. You cannot go wrong getting that Kid Goku. Plus, it's the first figure that they've released in their Dragon Ball line. So I would definitely recommend getting that Kid Goku when you get a chance. Another one that released recently as well is Nappa. He's still around retail price, 65, 70 bucks. If you want to start making a Saiyan Saga shelf, I would start off with Nappa. It's an amazing figure. I think they really did a fantastic job with it. You get a decent amount of accessories. The detail was handled pretty well on it, and the articulation is actually very well done on that Nappa. So I would definitely get Nappa when you get a chance. Another one, since you're getting Nappa, you might as well get the 2.0 Scouter Vegeta. He's still around retail price, like 55, 60 bucks, and you get two powered down Vegeta heads. So if you have the 2.0 Super Saiyan Vegeta, so you want to have him with the powered down head, you have that extra head with the 2.0 Scouter Vegeta. You do get a decent amount of accessories, and it's a pretty good figure. It is the updated 2.0 Vegeta mold. And the one thing I didn't like about it was the lack of paintwork. They did such a lazy job when it came to that. I was not happy at all with the paintwork on that figure, but the sculpt and everything turned out really good on that Scouter Vegeta. And if you're going to get Nappa, like I said, you might as well get that 2.0 Scouter Vegeta. Plus, the original one is way too much money, and yeah, it's just too much money. So that's that. If you're going to continue with Saiyan Saga characters, I would recommend getting Tien and Yamcha. I would say get Tien first. He is a much better figure all around compared to Yamcha. He's still around retail price, like 60, 65 bucks. And it's Tien, you know what I mean? He's one of the Z fighters, one of the original Z fighters, along with Yamcha. You need to get both of them. But like I said, I would jump on getting Tien first. Then I would get Yamcha second. Yamcha's a little more expensive, like 65 bucks, pretty much same price, but I think Tien's a little cheaper, around like the 60 buck range. But if you get Tien and Yamcha, you will pretty much complete your Z fighters, well, just without Krillin. So I would definitely recommend getting Tien and Yamcha when you get a chance. Another figure here, he's still kind of around retail, went up about like 15, 20 bucks, but that is Android 16. Very underrated figure. I would say get him as soon as you can before he gets into the $100 range, and then you'll not want to really spend over 100 bucks on a figure. I know a lot of people don't like spending over 100 bucks on a figure, so I would say try to get Android 16 before his price hits the $100 range. It's one of the best figures, I think, in the line. The only disappointing thing I think about that figure is the limited amount of accessories, but the accessories they did include with him are awesome. Plus you have the feature where you can remove his arm cannons at his forearms, so I thought that was a really cool little added thing that they put on Android 16 there, but I would recommend, highly recommend getting Android 16. Another one, this is for Super. I'm just throwing this out there because he's still retail price, and it's crazy that this form of this character hasn't went up in price, but the other one has. So it is the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. He's still only retail 50 bucks. It's not the best figure, and it is the older Vegeta body mold, but it looks like with that figure they did update a few minor things here and there, and it is much better compared to the older Super Saiyan Vegeta figures and the original Scouter Vegeta figure. The Super Saiyan Blue one is much better than all of those. Now, I don't think it's better than the 2.0 version, maybe just the ankle joints, but you can't go wrong getting it for 50 bucks, and eventually he's going to shoot up in price, and who knows when they're going to make 2.0 versions of Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, and Vegeta, so you might as well jump on that Vegeta for 50 bucks. You can't go wrong spending 50 bucks on that figure there. Plus he did release a couple of years ago, I believe. All right, so another one here for Super, of course, is Golden Frieza. Yes, he almost went up double in price. He's around like 70 bucks, but I feel like he's one of the best figures in the line. He is a must-have. He's really underrated though, just like Android 16. But even though his price went up, I still think he's worth the 70 bucks. He doesn't have nowhere near as many accessories as the Final Form Frieza, but he has excellent articulation, and the detail was just executed beautifully on that figure from the paint and the sculpt. They really did an amazing job with that Golden Frieza, so if you do get a chance, I would highly recommend adding that to your collection, especially if you're trying to make a Dragon Ball Super display in your collection. Now, before we get to the more expensive figures, the last one here is the latest release, not counting the Frieza that just released, but it is Goku Black, and it is sad that he did already jump up past the $100 range, so he's like coming in around like 120 bucks. I still think he's worth it, even though he's that expensive. That's one of the best figures that they've made in the line. I'm not a huge Goku Black fanboy either. It's just they really did an incredible job with that figure. You get some dope accessories. The articulation is excellent, and the detail was handled very well on that figure also, and I think it's worth every penny, even though it's over 100 bucks right now. I would try to get Goku Black as soon as you can, because I know he's just going to get more and more expensive like that. He's just going to get really high in price, because I think that's their most popular figure that they have ever made in this line, which is crazy. I've never seen another figure in this line jump up in price that much. I know Broly was extremely popular, and the Super Saiyan Blue Goku was as well, but they didn't sell out like how Goku Black did. It's crazy. There's a lot of Goku Black fans out there. Okay, so right there is figures I feel like you should start out collecting that are much cheaper besides Goku Black, but they're the more cheaper figures, still around retail price. Some of them are a little more expensive, but not too expensive like the figures we are about to get to in part 2 right now. So once you've settled in a little bit and collected a bunch of like the figures that are still at retail price that I pretty much just named for you, when you get a chance, you're ready to spend some big bucks, if you can, get Broly. Either version, doesn't matter which version you get, they're both incredible. If you have a chance ever to get Broly, get him. He is one of the best figures that they've made in the line. You get some pretty cool accessories, not a whole bunch, but some cool stuff. Excellent articulation, especially for the size of the figure, and the detail was just executed excellent on that piece. One of the best figures in the line. If you ever do have a chance, I would recommend getting him. If you don't ever think you'll be able to afford him, the Figuarts Standard Model Kit Broly is such a great figure, and it's an excellent stand-in if you can't get the SH Figuarts Broly. The Figuarts Standard Model Kit Broly is a great figure, and I would recommend getting that if you can't shell out like the 200, 300 bucks, because that is expensive for one damn figure. So I wouldn't blame anybody for jumping on the Figuarts Standard Broly, because they really did kill it with that model kit right there. So if you do have a chance, if you ever get the money, I would recommend getting the SH Figuarts Broly, but if you can't, get the Figuarts standard one without a doubt. All right, so another one here, which is very expensive as well. One of the more not original, but one of the more earlier releases. I think it released in 2012 or 13. I think 2012 actually. And it's Goku's best friend, which is Krillin. I know he's over $200 or maybe over $300. Really expensive. Tell you the truth, I feel like they're going to do a repaint edition in time. I don't know when they're going to do it, but I know they're going to do it. They got to. It's Krillin. He's one of the originals from Dragon Ball, just like Bulma and Master Roshi. So I feel like eventually we'll either get a 2.0 version or maybe a slightly different version of Krillin. So I would, if you can, if you're not impatient, unlike me, I would say wait for them to give us another Krillin. If you don't want to wait, but you don't have that type of money to spend, like I said with Broly, get the Figuarts standard model kit Krillin. It's pretty much the same size, and it looks like they did a fantastic job with that figure as well. I will get that model kit, and I will do a speed build video of it and review it as well on my channel, so you guys can get a look at that Krillin. But if you can't afford the SH Figuarts one, which it's so damn expensive, I don't think it's worth over $300. But if you can't afford it, get the Figuarts standard Krillin, because it's a great fill-in until Tamashii Nations gives us a 2.0 version or a repaint or a different version of Krillin. All right, so next here, this is a more recent release, which is the Super Saiyan God Goku, and I'm surprised this one jumped up into the $100 range already. So yeah, he's way over retail price, but I feel like that's one of the best Goku figures that they have made in the line as of right now. They really did an excellent job with that Super Saiyan God Goku. It's one of my favorites in the line. It's, like I said, it's around the $100 range. I think it's worth that price. They gave you like the basic accessories, but you get some excellent articulation, the 2.0 body mold, and then you do get some very nice paint and sculpt work on there. They added some nice shading throughout the figure, which looks excellent as well. And I would say if you want to make a super collection, that is a figure that eventually I would say you would have to get. All right, next, the Super Saiyan 3 2.0 Goku. There's two versions. You have the original version, which I feel like is the worst figure they ever made in the line. He just had that really cool aura effect going around him. But the 2.0 version did jump up in price a little bit. He's getting close to the $100 range. He's around like $80. So I would say try to get this sooner rather than later, because these figures, the more you wait on them, the more expensive they're going to become. So I would say try to get, if you love that form, Super Saiyan 3, or you want to make a Buu Saga shelf or maybe a Super shelf, I would definitely try to get that Super Saiyan 3 Goku, because they did do a very nice job with it. The articulation's pretty good. His hair does make him a bit back heavy, and the lack of paint shading is really bad on it. There's really none at all, but other than that, I think the detail was handled pretty damn good on that figure, and you do pretty much get the basic type of Goku accessories. So if you want a Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I would say try to get that one as soon as you can before it gets more expensive, before it hits that $100 mark, you know? All right, next here, the Super Saiyan Blue Goku. This one did jump up pretty high in price. He has been out for a few years, and like I said, when I was talking about Goku Black, the Super Saiyan Blue Goku was probably one of the most popular figures that they did release in the line. Yeah, it's an older Goku body mold, but it's the first Goku figure we got where he's wearing a different gi. He has a different outfit on. It's not the same Goku outfit that we've been getting with previous figures. So that's plus right there. He does come with the Super Saiyan Blue hair, and then they did give you a powered down face with the powered down Goku head as well, so that's definitely a plus. And then you do get the basic type of Goku accessories, the faces and hands. He does have some really good articulation, and the detail was handled very well also. And like I said, if you want to start your super collection, that is a figure you'll eventually have to add into your line. Not sure when they'll make, like I was saying with the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, not sure when they're going to make 2.0 versions of Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta. So if you want to, I would say try to get it before he hits over $200. He's around like 160, 180 right now, which is pretty damn expensive. Alright, so since I'm talking about Super, there's 2 more figures here. They aren't some of my personal favorites, but I know they're characters I do love in Super, and like I said, if you're going to make a Super display, you're going to need these 2, Beerus and Whis. Beerus is around 75, 80 bucks, and Whis is around 70 bucks. Whis, I feel like, is one of the more weaker figures in the line, but for what the character is, they did a good job with the figure, and he does look great on display with your other Super figures. Same with Beerus, but Beerus was executed extremely well. Excellent articulation, pretty good accessories, and detail was handled very well on Beerus. Whis, his articulation is hindered a lot, mostly from the waist down. Very bad ankle articulation, but from the waist up, he does have very nice movement. Detail was handled very well, and you get a decent amount of accessories also. So if you want to make a nice Super shelf, I would say you would have to eventually get them at some point. All right, Android 17 and 18, both of them are over 200 bucks, but I'm pretty sure we're either going to get 2.0 versions or maybe different versions of those characters, like Dragon Ball Super versions. So if you can be patient, I would say wait to get Android 17 and 18, but if you don't want to wait, you want the classic version of those characters from Dragon Ball Z, I would say try to get them if you do have the money. I know they made the Figuarts standard model kit versions of them, but they are pretty tall. They don't fit perfectly in scale with SH Figuarts, and for me, I didn't really like the look of them that much. I do prefer the SH Figuarts one a lot more, of course, but I mean, if you can't afford to get them, I would say get the Figuarts standard versions of them, because you can sneak them in scale if you know how to post your figures around, and it's a shame that some of these figures just get so damn expensive. But I would say wait it out, because we're either going to get Super versions of Android 17 and 18, or we will get 2.0 versions, or we'll get both versions. So I would say wait it out to get those 2. And finally, Shenron. He's still around retail price, like 80 bucks. Looks excellent on display, and it's Shenron, you know, the guy, the dragon who grants the damn wishes once they collect the Dragon Balls, which is what the show's named after, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. So you might as well get Shenron. He's a pretty damn cool figure. He definitely doesn't fit in scale. Shenron would be much bigger if you were making him fit in scale with the SH Figuarts line, but he's still around retail price. I think they did an awesome job with the figure. It's not perfect, but it really looks dope once you have them on display with your SH Figuarts Dragon Ball figures. But anyway, guys, that is my video on, if you're new to the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball line, where should I start collecting? Hope you enjoyed the video. If you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, just give it a thumbs up anyway, because action figures are awesome. But thanks for watching. I will see you later. Alright, so now for villains. You have your 5 main characters. Assholes with bikes.